This is why we have a 5-minute intro. You are looking live here in beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah, here at DNA HQ. My name is Darren. That is AJ, both from the thing you are currently watching. Boom. Welcome to another episode of the DNA Sports Recap. How's it going, my man?
I'm doing great, buddy. I'm doing really good. It's been an exciting day already. Had our first collaboration. That was fun.
That was fun. That was a lot of fun. Be sure to check it out later. We will be posting about that later. Might be a couple of weeks. Who knows when that happens? But we did communicate. We did collaborate with another fan based channel of the Philadelphia 76ers. So it's gonna be fun. Be on the lookout for that because that's gonna be awesome. So let's go ahead and jump into the show here. Well, first of all, again, welcome. Appreciate it. Thank you guys for joining us. If you're watching live on the channel here, please jump in the comments. This is a live stream, folks. We want to hear from you. If you're watching, please let us know where you're watching from. Let AJ know your favorite color.
And if it's not red, don't tell me because go Utes.
I like it. I like it. We just want to hear from you guys. This is a live show. We want to interact with you. It makes everything funner. So please jump in this chat. Let us know where you're watching from. Greg Hawkins, channel legend Greg Hawkins, says, is that me? Darren?
Yeah.
Okay. Darren, has anyone ever told you you look like Justin Steele? No one's ever told me that before. And isn't that a picture for you guys? The Cubs, Justin Steele? He had a good game his last start, if I'm correct on that. He had a good start. So no one's ever told me that before. Someone actually called me the lead singer for Metallica on the show. Remember that?
Yeah.
Like,
I was like, now I can't unsee it.
Yeah. When my hair was longer, my face was a little bit more a clean cut. He's like, who's this guy from Metallica, the lead singer for Metallica, and his buddy talking about sports for? It was interesting. It was fun. But yeah, once again, folks, we want to hear from you. Jump in the comments. Let us know where you're watching from. Also, feel free to comment on what we're talking about. This show is meant to be interactive with you guys because that's what makes it fun for us. So please feel free to, jump in the comments. Let us know where you're watching. Congratulations, Greg Hawkins, on your Chicago Cubs being first in the NL Central. Congrats to him.
That's crazy.
Congrats to him. That's awesome, man.
Just for the record, Greg, you did say you don't know if the Cubs are ever going to lose again.
Yes.
And now you're just running with it, man.
Yeah, you willed it into existence, Greg. So keep that up, man. Keep that up. It's the kind of stuff we like to see around here. But yeah, before we get into the show, folks, before we get into the podcast, we got to do a pre-show cheers.
Oh, yes. Yes.
We skipped the pre-show cheers.
Very important. Yeah, we did.
Cheers to you.
Cheers to you guys.
As you can see, no whiskey bottle right there because we just polished this one off. This one was Long Branch.
That was tasty.
Review on the channel, so be sure to check it out.
Yeah, watch it.
You probably haven't seen it yet, just based off the
considering there's 22 people that have watched it.
I think I've watched it 10 times, so that might be
a little skewed in our favor.
Yep. Yeah. So let's go ahead and jump into one more comment here from Greg. He's got they look fabulous. Yes. Are you talking about the Cubs again? Just to be on the safe.
Or are you saying us?
Because either way, we take it.
I will take that. Absolutely.
All right. You got anything you want to say in the chat before we jump into it?
No, I'm ready to get into it.
All right, let's do it.
This shit.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the DNA Sports Recap.
The University of Utah has completed their first spring scrimmage. Let's break it down.
For you, Utah Hockey Club, the SCG is committed to growing the sport of hockey in Salt Lake City.
And the Utah Jazz have a franchise record in all the wrong ways.
Also in Major League Baseball, let's go ahead and do an update on the torpedo bats and pretty much everything else. This nice little round robin quick pitch on Major League Baseball. All that said, my name is Darren, that is AJ, and this is the DNA Sports Recap.
Roll the intro.
All right, well, that hurts. That was right in our ears there. So we're going to have to figure that one out. How's it going, AJ?
Oh, it's probably because we still have the audio running. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
We still have the audio running into our ears. That's awesome. So we're going to change that up real quick. And Okay, and we're back.
Much better.
Yes.
We just had to go. We just had to let it play through, though.
Yeah, we could.
You can't tweak it, otherwise you'd be tweaking it the whole show.
Yeah, just not going to happen. Not going to work.
Yeah.
Well, once again, folks, thanks for joining us. How's it going, AJ?
Doing great, buddy. I'm doing great.
Absolutely. All right. Once again, folks, before we get into the content, we would like to encourage you to join the conversation. Please feel free to jump into the comments down below. Let us know what you think about your Utah hockey. Let us know what you think about your Utah football club. And as a reminder, folks,
you just said Utah
football club. Jeez, dude, all over the place. It's awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, we wanted to quickly give you the heads up on our latest channel, the Utah DNA. You want to take this one? I'm struggling a little bit.
Before we get into the content, we'd like to encourage you to join the conversation in the comments. While you're down there, consider subscribing. We want to talk to you about our new channel, Utah Football DNA. Make sure you like, subscribe, and check it out for all of our Utah football content. It'll be here first.
That's right. And smash that like button for your boy AJ over there. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. Let's get into our first subject we want to talk about, which is, well, the team completed its first spring scrimmage this Saturday. I thought it'd be good just to kind of jump in and talk about some of the highlights and some of the things that we noticed. And obviously we weren't there. The press was there to observe it. And there's a few interviews and stuff like that I'd like to kind of cover. So yeah, we'd love to hear it. So who's your first standout when it comes to first spring scrimmage?
I mean, and I obviously wasn't there, so you're just kind of going off some of the players that were, noted from the media availabilities. But I mean, it's looking like Logan and Spencer Fauna were going to be, just forces returning this year, which is great to hear. Obviously, one's an offensive lineman, one of them's a defensive lineman. These guys are monsters. They're going to be a huge part of this program moving forward. And both these guys are potential NFL. This could be their last season with both of these guys. I think. One of them, I think, is a little bit older, so I think one of them might have one more year. But I mean, these guys it's going to be huge to continue to contribute for both of these guys moving forward.
Yeah. So the player I want to highlight is going to be a Bird Ficklin. Bird Ficklin.
Yeah.
He completed several consecutive passes in this spring scrimmage. He actually had a couple of first downs running the ball himself, which is always great. He had a couple of great drives. Steve Bardell of KSL Sports was at the scrimmage, and he noted that Bird was a lefty in the same mold as Dampier, showing promise as an athlete and a passer for the first time on the field, which is fantastic to hear. I know we haven't gotten to see this guy, Devin Dampier, under center for the University of Utah yet. But with his track record and like you mentioned, being the top in offense last year?
They were number 4
in offense. Yeah. Saying that we have somebody like Bird that's kind of in the same mold, but he's a lefty, and obviously who doesn't love a lefty, right? So that's always important to see. So glad to hear that.
Yeah, absolutely. Another player that I'm really excited for. He didn't have a great, first offensive spring scrimmage, but it's going to be Wayshawn Parker.
Okay,
for sure. I mean, this guy, it's kind of noted in that article. He had a few good gains, had some tough running, good vision, but this guy is going to be a stud. I think he's going to turn out to be running back 1. He's going to get the majority of the carries. He had a great freshman year at Washington State. He came over with his running back coach, Wayshawn Parker. I can't say enough about him. This guy's going to be exciting, and he's going to give Devin Dampier that option, that true running back option when he's back there. And he's also done a great job in pass protection. So he's going to be a huge player, and I'm excited for him.
Yeah, no, I think, not exactly the best spring game for him, but like you mentioned, the talent's there, you know, so it's not like it's going to be an all or nothing there. The other player I'd like to mention that's coming out of the spring scrimmage game is actually going to be Nate Johnson. The reason why I wanted to highlight him is just the different ways. You and I have actually kind of already talked about this a little bit, and we're kind of predicting his use case for this season is that he's going to be used in a bunch of different ways. He caught some passes. He took some handoffs with Hunter Andrews, and also took a few snaps as well under center. As we mentioned on a former episode of the show, we're going to plan on using him as a QB. Basically, in that role, he's going to be break the glass in case of emergency type situation. If he's under center, that means we've had a few injuries, or we're having a specific situation where we feel like he's going to be the best option when it comes to that. But sometimes that's just, the depth you need to have at that position, especially with this team over the last few years. It's good to see that they're getting early looks at him, not only, taking some handoffs, doing some short catches, and also running the ball. So it's been good to see him in that space, basically.
Nate Johnson, and we said this before, but he's the Swiss Army knife player for this offense. And I am not going to be surprised if you see Nate Johnson in some formations and take a snap and him rear back and throw the ball. Because the fact is Nate Johnson can throw the ball down the field. I mean, he didn't have any issues. I mean, I think back to that game against Baylor where he came into a game late where the Utes really needed a win. He made a couple really good passes in the middle of the field, which is typically not something that a Kyle Whittingham offense puts his quarterbacks that he doesn't trust in a position to throw. But he made some good on-time, on-target throws that moved the offense down the field. And I think we will see that moving on, where you see Nate Johnson take some snaps where they're like, oh, it's not Devin Dampier in the, behind center. Take a snap and he'll just rear back and throw the ball. It's going to be a really fun year for Utah offense, because with Nate Johnson back there, he could line up anywhere and really do just about anything.
Yeah, I definitely see a bunch of play action type plays being run, especially like you mentioned, he wouldn't even have to be the one under center. It could be, it could be Devin Dampier, and it could be, just a lateral throw, and then he just bombs it down.
Yeah,
I could see that happen. Because he's got the arm for it. We've definitely seen it.
Well, and he has elite speed too. I mean, this dude runs a 4.40. He is crazy fast. Nate Johnson can absolutely burn it up. He's faster than Devin Dampier, and Devin Dampier is a very athletic player. But Nate Johnson gets the ball. I mean, he's just one of those guys. You get the ball in his hands, and he makes plays. Just get it to him, right? And as long as he can stay healthy and stay on the field, he's going to be a weapon for this Utah offense.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the rest of the spring scrimmage to see what news comes out in regards to our, the Utah football team, and kind of seeing how the depth chart shakes out, where you are still in the middle of a portal period.
Absolutely,
as they say. So we'll see what shakes out from that and see what comes of that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. It should be great. Lots of content to get into between now and when fall camp opens. So,
oh yeah,
can't wait. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
Yep.
We want to hear from you folks. Let us know. Please join the conversation. Jump into the comments. Let us know what you think as far as what you've read as far as spring scrimmage first spring scrimmage game. Let us know what your thoughts are in regards to that. The next subject I wanted to bring up was kind of one that I've just been kind of kicking around a little bit. You and I have talked about it a few weeks ago about the rise of BYU football over this year. They had a great second year in the Big 12. They finished 11-2 last year, 7-2 in the conference. And for a while there, they were picked to win the Big 12. They were just only 2 one-possession losses away against Kansas and Arizona State, so that would cost them their shot. But some would argue that they still deserve to be in the CFP over SMU. But what I actually wanted to bring this up, and the reason why I want to talk a little bit about BYU football, is because it kind of impacts Utah football in the aspects of recruiting. Do you think the season that BYU had puts them in a better position over Utah when it comes to recruiting?
I mean, it's definitely a very interesting point. And the recruit that brought us to this point is the highly touted tight end Brock Harris, who just committed to the Cougars. And he had offers from Georgia, Oregon, Miami, Michigan, and obviously our Utes. So this guy's the number 5 tight end in the top 247 recruiting. He's the number 5 tight end. So this guy's a really talented player that, that Utah usually does a really good job recruiting tight ends. And to see him choose BYU over Utah was a little bit concerning, right? Like this is the player that Utah usually gets. And is it going to affect it in the short term? Absolutely. But I think that last year, BYU obviously had a much better season. And we'll see how this year goes, right? Like we're not sure how BYU is going to look this year. It's very hard to duplicate that. And, BYU is going to have issues. I mean, they've got some good talent. They keep going. And they had they had a double-digit win season last year, which is very impressive, especially with a quarterback that you weren't sure. He kind of had a breakout season. But I really do believe that the Utes were probably a quarterback away from being in the exact same position last year. right? They had talent all over the field. They had better position players in most spots than BYU actually did. We had a better wide receiving core. We had a better offensive line, but they needed a field general. We needed a field general last year, and you're throwing a freshman quarterback and Isaac Wilson in there and saying, just go out there and get us some wins. Go out there and just don't lose the ball game for us. But you can't do that with a freshman quarterback that's going to be like destined to make mistakes. And the Utah defense is bend, don't break, right? If they can hold you to 14, all we got to do is score 21. And we couldn't make that happen. And we saw this transition kind of happen, early in the transfer portal where we lost Keanu Tanavasu, Carson Ryan. Both those guys left the U and went down to BYU. And whether that's because they have family that live close to that area, or Keanu Tanavasu said that his reason for leaving was there was one of the defensive end coaches there he's really close with. He has some family ties to. He wanted the opportunity to go play for him. Carson Ryan's, from the Orem area. He's got family that lives a little bit closer down there.
Yeah.
But
it's a whole 20 minutes from here to there, but okay.
But you know what I mean? Like, I think that all this takes is one successful season from the U to show that we were just a quarterback away. And I think you start seeing some of those recruits funnel back this direction. And I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised if we see, Mr. Brock Harris, this newly touted guy, end up in a Utah uniform here in a year or two, because it's not going to take long. And BYU's making up, they're still a year or two probably behind Utah in the recruiting trail, but they're making up ground. They're doing a good job and they're putting together a good team, but they are not, and it's just my opinion, right? They're not the quality of football team that Utah is at this point.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to argue against the record. You know, on if you're going to say who's the better team, Utah or BYU right now, you kind of have to go with the record. Like, you can't just say,
Absolutely.
proof's on the field, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want to hear my answer to this?
Absolutely.
So my answer is no. It doesn't affect the University of Utah in recruiting whatsoever.
I love it.
The reason behind that is, like you said, according to 24/7 Sports, which is 24/7 Sports, not 247 Sports.
It's the same thing.
The University of Utah has the ranking of recruiting at 40 in the 2025 rankings, which is actually a drop from 34 last year. BYU is at number 55. So in recruiting, 24/7 Sports does still have the University of Utah higher than BYU, which actually BYU, which is surprising, dropped down from 46. So they were actually much higher last year in recruiting as far as recruiting rankings go than they were.
I'm curious where they're at in transfer portal rankings.
So I don't know. We'll have to look that up. But
give me 1 second.
While I do believe that this did help BYU in recruiting, absolutely, there's no arguing that. Having an 11-2 season and just being a couple wins away from being in the college football playoff, it definitely does help them. But in the terms, does it make them, the powerhouse in recruiting for the state of Utah? No, I still think that falls within Utah's realm, because they, again, according to the national, talking heads that know better than we do, Utah is still ranked higher than in the recruiting class.
Yeah, so Utah's ranked 35th in the transfer portal rankings. BYU is not in the top 50.
Yeah, I had to go down to 55 to see them. So they weren't in the top 50 in rankings and recruiting at all.
Yeah, so transfer portal, Utah's actually still ahead of them as well.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, Pineview High School star recruit Brock Harris is definitely going to be the one that jumped out to us, that sparked this whole conversation. I do think that while this definitely did help BYU, absolutely, I'm not going to argue that at all. I don't think it impacted the University of Utah and its ability to recruit.
Yeah, BYU's at 87.
Yeah, so that's kind of where we're sitting on that, guys. We'd love to hear from you. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below in regards to the University of Utah, and did the BYU season that they have affect the University of Utah's ability to recruit against BYU? We'd love to hear from you in the comments down below. Once again, folks, we'd love to hear from you. So let us know what your thoughts are down below. Drop a like on this channel. Check out the merch store. We got some University of Utah merch coming real soon, so be sure to check it out. And as always, smash that like button for your boy AJ right over there.
Do it.
Check it out. All of our Utah football content will be here on Utah Football DNA. So make sure, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, we'll think of a really cool giveaway for this one once we hit 1,000 subscribers. So
yep,
subscribe, hit that notification bell so you stay tuned for that.
comments.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go ahead and jump in some of the comments here. So let's go ahead and go to the first one we see from Greg Hawkins. Said should be an interesting team this coming year. Absolutely, man. It's going to be fun, man. I think having a top-rated defense in the country, and then having also an offense that is going to not blow the game for you, being like in the 100th ranked on the offensive side of the ball, it's definitely going to move the needle for us for sure. We got Greg Hawkins also jumping in here to say, I think BYU will have an advantage with money in terms of recruiting, but the other factors will still hinder the team. Now, that's an interesting part there, because I know they tend to pay their head coaches, at least on the football side, less than the national average.
Yeah.
I know Kalani Sitake is getting a lot of his compensation is going to have to come from things like, NIL funds and stuff like that. So, and a lot of boosters have to cover part of his salary. But from a money aspect, I don't know. What do you think there? Do you think I would think BYU's,
I think BYU is going to have some pretty deep pockets. I think they'll be able to spend in the NIL portal because, Keanu Tanivasu was, he said it wasn't the only reason, but they had to pay that man to get him to transfer to BYU.
Oh, for sure. For sure. That's a good point. Yeah. I definitely think, because, it's like 25 minutes away, dude. It's not that far. But I also think, I don't know, man. I kind of agree on that one, but I also, they've been. I
think when he's saying other factors, I think that could be the ethics code and stuff like that at BYU, where it is a much different college campus to live on versus somewhere like a public university like the University of Utah.
For sure.
Yeah.
We also got another comment here. In the end, this is unsustainable for most schools, including both BYU and Utah long term.
Totally agree.
On this one, I'd actually disagree. I think BYU is in a great position for this to continue for them, because if they ever did decide, keep in mind what BYU considers their football team. It's part of the missionary program for them. And if there's a school that's sitting on, billions of dollars that they could easily throw into the missionary program, I'm just saying, the football team's part of that. So when it comes to which school is going to run out of money first, it's definitely not going to be BYU. That's for sure. But that's just,
a great point.
Just where I'm sitting on that one, guys. But this is coming from the same guy who just did a video last year about how BYU might actually not even have a football program in 5 years. Remember when we talked about that?
Good
focusing on basketball. Remember that?
Yeah. I made the thumbnail with Sitake waving a white flag.
Yeah, it was great. But yeah, let us know what you guys' thoughts are on that one for sure. And then we have another comment from Greg. Yes, the great missionary tool of BYU athletics. Hey man, they made it to what, the Sweet 16 this year?
Basketball, yeah.
Yeah, and they almost made it to the college football playoff. That's definitely good it's what we call branding in the marketing world. So, can't hate that for sure. All right, so let's go ahead and pivot on over and talk a little bit about the Utah Hockey Club, shall we?
Absolutely.
Once again, folks, before we get in the content, we do want to tell you about Utah Hockey DNA. This is a channel specifically for your Utah Hockey Club. Before we get in the content, we'd like you to encourage you to join the conversation in the comments down below. While you're down there, consider subscribing to the channel. Make sure that you smash that like button for your boy AJ over there, and while he changes the color on the screen. And as a reminder, once this channel hits 1,000 subscribers, we'll be giving away one of those Utah Hockey Club jerseys. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on that giveaway. With that said, man, let's go ahead and jump into some hockey content, man.
Let's do it.
I'm looking forward to talking about it. Now, before we get into, let's get into the first subject, which is actually going to be not necessarily on the ice. We're basically pretty much eliminated from the potential of playing in the Stanley Cup playoffs this year, which is perfectly fine. Check out our previous episode, how we talked about, while it would have been nice to be in contention for that, in for the wild card spot, it's actually even better for the fact that we're still seeing this team develop and all that good stuff. So be sure to check that out from last week. Subject one that we want to talk about today was something that we got from the SEG announcement. They made an announcement on, I believe, April 6th. Did you hear this?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So their announcement was that they're going to donate pretty much $20 million. 20 million?
No.
10 million.
There you go.
$10 million, $500,000 per rink for up to 20 new rinks across the Salt Lake Valley. Really cool idea from Ryan Smith. It's obviously a huge push to get hockey in front of more people. There is not a lot of ice rinks in the Salt Lake Valley.
No.
I mean, we mostly just got Kearns, and I mean, there's probably a couple rec centers that have ice during the winter and stuff like that. But I mean, this is a really cool idea. And Smith kind of stated in it there that every municipality in Utah should have an ice rink, which is a really cool statement.
Yeah. So this all started with somebody adding Ryan at Ryan Qualtrics. Any plans to help states build more ice rinks? It's brutal out here. Davis and Weber County, Ogden ice sheets are always full, and Bountiful was closed tonight. My kid was so excited to skate tonight and was super bummed when we couldn't find anywhere to go. And he has a picture. This is on Twitter. That was from Matt at Attacked by Panda on March 21st, 2025. The comment came, he then responded back on that. He's like, this is going to be a summer project. We believe that every municipality, to your point, should have an ice rink, Smith wrote. Utah has the youngest demographic in the USA and the fastest growing state. With basketball, we have over 70,000 kids playing junior jazz and more basketballs per capita than anywhere else. It should be the same for hockey, more to come. So there are a few things I wanted to highlight on this one. Is first one is going to be where we talk about the way he mentioned it in the post there. He said, let's take a second to chat about that. That's $500,000 per rink for up to 20 rinks nationwide. Sorry, statewide.
Yeah.
So and this is what he said, if you are open to, basically, it's going to be like talking about partnership with entrepreneurship. That's a big thing that he talked about there. So if you're in a business of wanting to set up a hockey rink for a rec hockey league, SEG is going to donate $500,000 for you to build the ice hockey rink and also donate the plans to it as well.
Yeah.
Because they had the schematics and everything broken down there. Then basically what you're doing is you're building the locker rooms, the concession stands, and basically taking care of everything else. But I mean, this is an amazing thing he's doing here. And not only doing that, allowing it to tie it to entrepreneurs and also tying it to local municipalities to kind of work together to build these rec center locations for hockey. I think that's huge.
This is the best possible thing he could have done to continue to push Utah hockey, right? Like he said, the junior jazz program is massive. 70,000 kids participate in junior jazz. So now we're going to have junior hockey club. I don't know what the name's going to be. Maybe junior outlaws.
The junior mammoths.
The junior mammoth. Singular. Junior mammoth youth hockey.
There you go.
Love it. I don't know. I mean, it's really cool. I love the take that, he's just trying to grow the sport. I think it is definitely going to be something that is going to help him grow his franchise. So this is a very small investment for a billionaire to help grow your hockey franchise and get people more interested and out watching hockey.
Oh yeah. Spend $10 million on a player to hopefully sell jerseys versus spending $10 million to like basically take this, like you mentioned, this whole generation of young kids that are going to want to grow up and in the hockey landscape, and definitely give them an option other than junior jazz basketball to play for sure. Yeah. I think it's brilliant. I think it's going to help him out. And I think it's probably the smartest thing and probably the most, I don't know. It's probably the greatest impact that he's going to have on the city to help young kids in the community, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably the biggest impact.
Yep.
I don't know. We want to hear from you folks. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. We want to hear from you in regards to that. Let us know what your thoughts are when it comes to SEG Group donating $10 million to build 20 rinks. We'd love to hear from you.
Yep. And it looks like we got a comment from EMOU 8779, the mini mammoth. Hey,
there you go.
That'll work. I love it.
The mini mammoth. I like that.
Yeah, that's much better than the junior mammoth. Sorry.
Junior mammoth. Yeah.
I probably should have gone with an M word before the mammoth.
Yeah, because junior jazz,
it
mini mammoth. Yeah, that's great. Appreciate it. Thanks for joining us, by the way.
Absolutely.
Thanks for jumping in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Appreciate it. Thank you. So now we want to pivot on over to more of a NHL story.
Yeah.
You can't have a hockey channel without at least bringing this up. So we definitely wanted to do that. So let's talk about, we have a new scoring champ in the National Hockey League. So let's take a second to give some kudos to Alex Ovechkin.
Yep.
Keep saying it like 16 different ways. Alex Ovechkin of the Washington Capitals. He scored his 895th goal, breaking Wayne Gretzky's all-time scoring record.
And keep in mind, this record has stood in place for 30 years. I mean, that is a crazy. That's like a John Stockton assist record,
right?
That you know what I mean, like that.
Although that one's not going to be broken, but
yeah, right. But I'm saying, you know what I mean, like 30 years is insane.
This is the exact same kind of thing. You're exactly right. This is definitely John Stockton-esque type record for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, it was pretty cool to see at the game. Wayne Gretzky was there because obviously he's a person that he passed. And, you know, he even went on, you know, to say that I'm not sure who's going to get more goals than that. So pretty cool to have the, you know, the previous all-time, you know, scoring leader, you know, say to you, and especially because, I mean, Ovechkin's still playing. He's going to keep going, right? Like he's got a few more years to play. So, you know, he's going to continue to run that scoring up, and it'll be really cool to kind of continue to follow his career and see how far it actually ends up when he's all done.
Yeah. So this guy debuted in 2005-2006 season.
Yeah. Oh, sweet.
So do the math there. That's 19 seasons.
That is a long time. Yeah.
19 seasons. Not only that, it's been not only has it been 10 seasons, 19 seasons. It's been 19 seasons with the same team. He's been on the Capitals his whole career.
Yeah.
Whole career. I looked up his hockey reference page. Yeah. It's all Washington Capitals from the day he debuted to here. He's 6'3", 238 pounds at the age of 39 with more gray than me. He was the first overall pick in 2004.
Yeah.
So that is some good drafting, guys. Good job. FYI, Wayne Gretzky still leads in assists at 1,963 and total points at 2,857. That is crazy. You know,
yeah,
amount of, and he didn't.
The only bad news is aside from the game paused for his 25-minute ceremony to honor it, the Capitals actually ended up losing that game 4-1.
Oh, no one cares about that right now. No one cares about that right now. You want to know something crazy about that game, though?
What?
So the crazy thing is that at the time the goal was scored, they both played in the exact same amount of games, 1,487 games played, both Wayne Gretzky and him.
Pretty crazy. That
is nuts.
Yeah.
That's MLB type level of poetry right there.
Yeah.
You absolutely love to see it.
Very impressive.
Yeah. Anyway, so congrats to Alex there. Love to hear it. We want to hear from you folks. Let us know in the comments down below what you think in regards to Alex Ovechkin breaking the scoring record as far as goals scored for the National Hockey League. We want to hear from you. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Is there another record that that would be a good subject for another video. What other records are unbreakable in the National Hockey League?
Oh yeah.
We should definitely doing that. We should definitely be doing that for sure. Yeah, let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below on that one if you want to see that. We'd love to hear from you on that. So let us know. But once again, folks, this has been an episode of Utah Hockey DNA. This is our channel specifically for your Utah Hockey Club. All of our content will be posted here for your Utah Hockey Club on Utah Hockey DNA. As a reminder, folks, we want to hear from you. So jump in the comments, let us know what you think about what we talked about today, and let us know what you'd like us to talk about going forward. We're coming up on the playoffs where the Utah Hockey Club are going to go into the postseason. Next season starts when that happens, right? So we want to hear from you guys on what you want to see from this team going forward. Drop us a like. Check out the merch store down below. We've got this logo on a hoodie, so be sure to check it out. And more stuff to come every week about your Utah Hockey Club. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. We'll be giving away a sweet Utah Hockey Club jersey once this channel hits 1,000 subscribers. All right, let's go ahead and pivot on over. Let's talk a little bit about the Utah Jazz, shall we?
Yep, absolutely.
Once again, folks, before we get into content, we want to talk to you a little about Utah Jazz DNA. This is a channel specifically for your Utah Jazz. All of our content will be all of our Utah Jazz content will be posted here. So if you'd like, please jump in the comments down below. Let us know what you think about your Utah Jazz. It's been a rough season to follow so far. We want to hear from you. We want to have you air your grievances in the comments down below. Let us know what you're thinking as far as your Utah Jazz go. Smash that like button for your boy AJ right over there. And while you're down there, consider subscribing to Utah Jazz DNA. We'll be giving away one of those sick new Utah Road black jerseys. So be sure to check it out. Subscribe to the channel and make sure you smash that like button so you don't miss out on that giveaway. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into the first subject there. This is an article that I read on SI.com where the Jazz have set a franchise record and one of the worst ones that we could probably see.
Yeah, this was pretty much the worst. I mean, it's great because we accomplished exactly what we set out to accomplish, and that was have the absolute worst season in franchise history. The Jazz just hit 60 losses. Their previous worst was in the 74-75 season where they had 59 losses. And then in 79 and 80, they also had 58 losses. So we hit it, guys. We're there. We're at 60 losses on the season. We are the worst team in the NBA currently. And we still got a few games to go, right? We could lose even more.
Yes.
Which is very impressive.
Yeah. We've never been a team in franchise history that it did not make it to 20 wins. And we officially crossed that threshold when we lost, I believe, on Monday. So yeah, this team was not going to be capable of getting to 20 wins. We can't get to 19 wins. So the best thing we can hope for is either 17 or 18 wins, which we don't want either one of those.
No.
So keep it up, guys. Keep it up. When you take that, the bracket there for the power rankings and you flip it upside down, we're at the top of that. And that's exactly where we want to be as a team. This team is ranked 24th in NBA for offensive rating, and we're sitting dead last in defensive rating, allowing 120.4 points per game. There's no other way to say it other than it's been torturous for us as Jazz fans to watch this team compete, but we've got it there, guys. We are the worst team in the NBA, and we're the worst team in franchise history, so we made it.
So, I mean, the good news is about being the worst record is you can fall no further than the 5th pick. As long as you finish with the worst record in the NBA, you can't go any lower than the 5th pick.
Yeah, ask the Detroit Pistons how that's worked out for them.
Yeah, correct. And the second worst record, no worse than the 6th pick. So, like you said, last season, the Pistons with the worst record got the 5th pick. And the Hornets, who had the third worst record, ended up with the 6th pick. So it's brutal, and we're getting to crunch time, right? Like we've got, obviously the draft lottery is coming up here in a month or two, and
May 12th.
And that's scary because at this point, I know every Jazz fan feels like after watching this team just battle through this brutal season that it's been, everybody wants that number 1 draft pick, and that's where we gotta be.
Yeah, as a Utah fan base, we're spoiled. We've only had a couple of years in the last few seasons the last 20 years, where this team actually didn't make the playoffs. You can count them on less than one hand.
Yeah.
How many times this team has not been at least playing competitive basketball. You could say wherever you want about us being first rounds out, stuff like that. This team has always been competitive. Now, this team has never, in the history of its draft, ever gone up in odds. Never.
Right.
We were at our odds pre-draft in the lottery, and we've never gone up. We've only gone down. We've never picked higher than the 3rd pick, and when we did pick 3rd, it was Enes Kanter that we got. So this team does not have the best odds when it comes to the draft. So with all that said, here comes the good news. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Utah Jazz have never gotten a number 1 overall pick, but we've also never been this bad.
Right.
So if the Utah Jazz hold serve and never go up, well, guess what? You can't go up. We're the number 1 pick. We have the number 1 odds right now. When it comes to the pre-draft odds, everybody's got Utah Jazz picking 1. If you look at it, 24/7 Sports, ESPN, DraftKings, they all have the Jazz picking number 1. So that falls in our favor because we've always at least been holding our own spot.
Yeah,
which is the good news. Now, what the good news is also is that we've never been in a team that's never gotten 20 wins. So if we've gotten to the point where we've hit an all-time low for this team, that's the chance for our opportunity to switch because we've never been this bad. So since we've never been this bad, we've never been gotten the payoff that a team this bad should get. So I think we're in uncharted territory here as a team. And since we've never been in this position as this team, we've never been in a more miserable tunnel to earn the number one pick. I think that's where we are. We're in a position where we can be in that position. As we talked about in a previous episode, this is very much what we feel like. We feel like, that with Cooper Flagg, his season now over with Duke, it's time to think about the draft and think about where we're going. And I think that's where we want to, kind of dive into a little bit here.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, the fact is Cooper Flagg's a generational player, and him joining the Jazz is part of the plan, right? Like that is when if you're writing this book, that's exactly what we need to happen to start turning things and righting the ship and doing a little bit of course correct. Like this team wasn't as bad as, and in my opinion, I don't think this Jazz team is 16 win bad.
No,
that's obviously very intentional. So I'm okay with that, especially if it lands as Cooper Flagg. But I'm going to tell you, if we drop Darren, I'm going to lose my mind.
All right. Well, that's actually kind of what I want to get into next. The next subject we want to talk about, first of all, we want to hear from you. Let us know in the comments down below what you think in regards to the Jazz hitting rock bottom, never being this bad before, never finishing less than 20 wins, and never being the worst team in the NBA. We want to hear from you. What are your thoughts? What are your grievances? This is a therapy session for you, Utah Jazz fans. Let us know in the comments down below. The next subject I want to talk about is I don't want to focus on the negative for the rest of this. I want this to be the only time we address the negative.
Okay.
So with that said, AJ, I want to talk about worst case scenario for the Utah Jazz. So what is your worst case scenario for the Utah Jazz going forward?
I mean, the worst case scenario is getting the number 5 pick, right? Falling all the way down. And, if 5 is the worst we can get, we end up with the number 5 pick. We miss out on a lot of really quality players, and that puts us into an immediate rebuilding season for next year as well. We're going to see the exact same thing next year. If we do not get even a 1 through 3 pick, there's some really good, talented players 1 through 4.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Cooper Flagg is the ultimate goal, but 1 through 4, we're going to be okay. If we fall to 5, that is the absolute worst case scenario. That's the furthest we can fall, being the worst team in the league. Now, if we get to that point, we go into a rebuild for the next season. And that is the next worst case for me, because I really enjoy watching Utah Jazz basketball, but I like watching them win and compete. And this has been a really tough season to watch them not win and then only compete half the game.
Yeah, that's been the big piece for me, is that it's not about them winning. It's about watching them not compete.
Yeah.
It's about watching this team compete through 3 quarters and not necessarily get blown out in the 3rd quarter, but you can definitely see when they shift crunch time, they pull out Colin Sexton, they pull out Larry Marketing, and they throw JC and a bunch of scrubs out there just to kind of, still try to put on a show, but then they just get badly beat. That's something I definitely don't want to see. So while I agree with you, that is a bad situation for the Utah Jazz, it's not the worst scenario.
Okay. What do you think is the worst scenario?
For me, the Jazz land the number 1 overall pick, and Cooper Flagg decides to go back to Duke. That, to me, is the worst case scenario for the Utah Jazz.
Okay.
Meaning that just like we couldn't keep a family man who loves to stay home with his family and play video games in Gordon Hayward, it would also, to not be able to get Cooper Flagg here would be an even bigger blow than that. You remember that day when Gordon Hayward said he's going to Boston.
Yeah, I do.
That
like
was
it was
terrible.
yesterday.
Yeah, that was terrible. We're like, we lost our all-star. We lost the best player on our team. And the worst case scenario was at a time where we had nothing that we can do. We could not pivot back and go find somebody to replace him. We now know this year that we wouldn't even be able to get anybody here if we wanted to, because the players just wouldn't come here at that point. But yes, to me, this is the worst case scenario. And like I mentioned, I don't want to focus on the negative going forward in the draft process. I want to get this out here because to me, this is a real concern. The Jazz land the number 1 draft pick. We get the top spot and he decides, no, I'm going to go back to Duke. We just talked to JK Philly on our collab earlier today, and they have 10% chance of landing the number 1 overall pick, which is only 4% or less than 3.5% less than what we have.
Yeah.
There's a good chance that the Philadelphia 76ers could land the number 1 overall pick, and he could go from Duke right into Joel Embiid, Paul George, and Tyrese Maxey situation where he's competing in the East right away.
Yeah.
Now, do I agree that that's his best landing spot? Absolutely not. I think his best landing spot is here in Utah, especially over the other teams that are going to be in the draft lottery, like the Pelicans, the Hornets, and
Wizards.
The Wizards, right? Out of all 3 of those, 2 of those people are in. The Wizards are just in purgatory. They have some good talent there right now, but they just never have been able to transition, even when they had good quality all-star talent on their team. There might be some interest in Charlotte for him to go play with Ball. LaMelo Ball there. There might be some, and they got what's his name from the draft last year? Who was that? It's killing me.
I can picture his face.
Anyways,
yeah,
he could want to go there, but they did sow the seeds that he might want to go back to Duke and run it back one more time. He even on his home floor, he went like this when they said run it back. He went to the audience and did this, which is run it back. He laid the seeds now that he could potentially go back to Duke. And the only reason why I think he did that is because he wants to ensure that the landing spot that he goes to is one that he actually wants to go to, not necessarily just go to the worst team who happens to get the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
I hope that the Jazz aren't on that list.
Right.
I hope that he realizes, okay, if the Pelicans get it, if the Hornets get it, if the Wizards get it, then yeah, I'm coming back to Duke for 1 year. I'm going to make $10 million and play another round of basketball. I'm still only going to be 19 years old when I'm going into the NBA draft. I'm going to be good, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm really hoping that he doesn't have the Utah Jazz on that list. Do I think it's smart of him to not come here? No, I don't think it is. But there has been a bias against Utah. We haven't been able to trade for players. We can't even keep, the players that we should be able to keep in this market here either. That is my worst case scenario for the Utah Jazz.
That is a great take. First of all, that's a really great take. I personally do not think that the Jazz would be on his list, because if you are looking for a team that is on the brink of competing, the Jazz, and if you're talking brink of competing, you go Jazz, Wizards, Hornets, Pelicans, 76ers. The Jazz are the next best option besides the 76ers.
I would argue the Jazz are a better option than the 76ers.
They're a better option, especially if you want to be a star player.
Yeah.
Right. And you want to be, you're white Jesus at that point. You come here, you know what I mean? Like, you are a known generational talent that has your floor is all-star and your ceiling is like all NBA, Hall of Fame type career. Right? That's who this guy could be. If you're looking for an opportunity to go somewhere that you can win sooner than later, the Jazz are not a team you're going to look at and be like, yeah, nah. You pick. If you decide to go to the Hornets or the Pelicans, these teams have been bad for years.
With number 1 overall picks on their team.
With number 1 overall picks, right? And it's Brandon Miller is the player for the Hornets.
That's who it was.
Yeah. But with Brandon Miller, with Lonzo Ball, like these are great ball players, right? And the Hornets are just still really bad. So, and does he even fit on the Hornets? You know what I mean? Like, Brandon Miller's a 2 guard. Lonzo Ball's Melo Ball's clearly your point guard.
Yeah, he could play a 3 though.
He's going to be in a 3, but like, that's a team that doesn't have any defense. Like Cooper, like, so now you're relying on him to not only be an offensive weapon and a defensive, like he's got to be a defensive weapon. We need you to come here and do everything because we have nobody else.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't think that Utah's on his short list of teams that he's opting out for. But I could very easily see the Wizards or the Hornets being some of those teams that was just like, I'm not sure that's where I want to go.
No, go back to college one more year, make another $10 million, and you're going to be fine.
Maybe the Jazz get the draft next year.
Yeah, which wouldn't be bad. But I don't want to go through this situation again.
That's my problem. I just
keep in mind, like this is a worst case scenario, worst possible option.
Absolutely.
Think about it from the player's perspective. Right now, we have the broadcaster getting honored tonight.
Yeah.
He is the last connection to the Stockton Malone era.
Yeah.
Ownership, training staff, concessions, pretty much everybody else has completely gone from that era.
Yeah.
A player like Cooper Flagg is not going to remember the statues. A player like Cooper Flagg is not going to remember Darren Williams and Carlos Boozer. A player like Cooper Flagg is going to only remember Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert.
Absolutely.
We have a brand new ownership that's less than 4 years in. We have a general manager in Justin Zanuck. Got a good track record. Danny Ainge got a good track record. Will Hardy. Is he known? He's known as a good coach throughout the league.
Yeah.
But there's not enough track record there, at least in recent history, to show that he's good at developing young talent. That isn't there. Cody Williams, not great. Keontae George, I think he's okay, but where he was drafted, you would hope to see a little bit better from him. You know, obviously Isaiah Collier is doing great. Filipowski's doing great, but
also he hasn't been given the opportunity to make it to tell a team it's our turn to go out there and win.
Well, when it comes to developing rookies, it has nothing to do. Winning has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, but it is going to affect the timing that you're putting these players in and their ability to be successful, right? You can't put Keontae George in a key situation and say, hey, we need you to go get a bucket here, because that's not what they're doing. They're not saying hand it to Keontae. They're not saying hand it to one of these young guys. They're saying, hell, let Johnny Juzang take the 3 for the win. Oh, he missed it. All good. No problem, Johnny.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think they're putting a few players in a position to where they think that they have a chance to develop. They're doing okay.
But the problem is they're not in any games that have any relevance.
Yeah. Well, to my point, this is on outside looking in, right?
Yeah.
This is him looking in. I know for myself, in looking at this team, I know they're putting a lot of effort into Cody Williams, Isaiah Collier, Kyle Filipowski,
Johnny Juzang?
Not Johnny Juzang. Hendricks when he was healthy.
Oh yeah, Taylor Hendricks, absolutely.
Taylor Hendricks is going to be a big part of this team, and I still think I actually have pretty good hopes for him. He was showing like huge improvement at
elite defensive skills too.
Yeah, and his improvement, his court awareness on the tail end of last season was it was perfect. It's a shame that we lost him, but his body's right, and obviously he looks good on camera in those Vivint Smart Home commercials, so he's doing great there. But yeah, so to me, this is just outside looking in. The Utah Jazz aren't exactly known currently like they were previously underneath Snyder as being a developmental type program.
Right. And that was Snyder's calling card.
Yes.
Was you get young players and you make them into superstars.
And that's exactly what Snyder did here. Rudy Gobert,
Donovan Mitchell. I mean, he even got the best out of Mike Conley as he came back over.
He became an all-star for the first time in his career.
Bojan Bogdanovic looked absolutely fantastic when he was here, which he was just a run-of-the-mill three-point shooter, and he turned into, he earned himself another $20 million contract just by playing with the Jazz and Quinn Snyder for a couple of years.
Yeah, the minivan, he's great at developing these talents. I just think Coach Hardy doesn't have that pedigree.
Yeah.
So on the outside looking in, I think that's kind of where we're running into the situation where, if worst case scenario, that could be it.
Right.
So you're going bottom. I'm going scraping the bottom of the barrel. That's how bad it could get.
Yeah.
So we want to hear from you folks. Let us know in the comments down below what you think as far as the Utah Jazz go. I know it's kind of a downer episode we talked about today, but again, my focus on going forward throughout the rest of the offseason, coming up into the draft lottery and the draft process, that I want to have more of an optimistic take on this team.
Yeah.
I really want to see that this is the season where this team really kind of, especially the front offices, really pivots and shows us what they're capable of. That's my goal for this offseason.
Absolutely.
We want to hear from you, from the folks in the comments down below. Let us know what you think. So again, drop it below. Let us know. Drop us a like on the channel here while you're down there commenting down below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Check out our merch store. We got a Hot Rod Hundley t-shirt in the merch store, so check it out there. If you didn't get it, I just blew the thing there for you. So hopefully,
you better get it. If not, you're apparently not a real Jazz fan. That's what I've been told.
You're not. If you don't know who Hot Rod Hundley is, we can't figure that out.
I know who Hot Rod Hundley is. I just never had heard that saying, man. I missed the early 90s Jazz, I guess.
Okay.
I was a young lad. Okay.
Yeah,
give me a break.
Not
Darren.
early Jazz. This is their finals runs.
Early in my life, Jazz.
Yeah, it's mid 90s actually.
I was a Bulls fan in the mid 90s.
Oh, okay. So he's one of those.
Yeah. Well, my dad was a Bulls. My dad's still a Bulls fan to this day, man.
Oh, dude, poor guy.
Yeah, he's had a rough time. Okay?
I don't know what that team's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we don't. We need to bring my dad to guest star because he can rant about him for hours.
Yeah, we need to fill up a half-hour segment here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Senior,
good times.
Jumping in there, Senior, for sure. But once again, folks, we'd love to hear from you. Let us know. Check out the channel. Once again, folks, this is Utah Jazz DNA. This is a channel specifically we made for your Utah Jazz content. So make sure that you smash like on this channel. Jump in the comments. Let us know. Slap us some engagement there for sure. And make sure you subscribe to the channel for that jersey giveaway. We'd love to have give that out to you. So, yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. All right, let's go ahead and pivot on over and talk a little bit about Major League Baseball, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right. All right, man. Let's go ahead and jump in and talk a little bit about Major League Baseball, shall we?
Yep.
Now, there is a whole lot to talk about this week, so we're not going to spend a whole lot of time chatting back and forth. We're going to jump in to the topics I want to talk about. So first, and Greg, you're going to like this one if you're still with us. We're going to talk about basically what I like to call Astros getting kicked in the nuts this week.
Yes.
Yes, you hear this story?
That is exactly where they got kicked. You absolutely nailed it.
All right, you want to break this down?
Yeah. So this year, the MLB announced their Player of the Week honors, and their Players of the Week for the first full week of the 2025 season are Alex Bregman from the Boston Red Sox and Kyle Tucker from the Chicago Cubs. Now, what did these two players have in common, my friend Darren?
They were both on the Astros last year. One they traded away and one they let walk in free agency.
Just let him walk too. Bregman was the American League winner. He had a 407. His batting average was 407. He had 10 RBIs. And Kyle Tucker was the National League winner who hit 391 and had 3 home runs in the first week.
Yeah, especially on that, man. To Kyle Tucker there, to you, Greg Hawkins in the channel legend Greg Hawkins. First couple of games in, you said he forgot how to hit and was not hitting well in spring training. He was just saving it for the regular season, man. That guy's looking to be an MVP candidate, man. So good on you, man. Good pickup there for your Cubbies there in Chicago. When it comes to Alex Bregman, man, I do not know why they did not sign this man.
Well, how do you just let him walk, dude? You just let him and let him sign a 3-year, $120 million deal and just let him go.
Yeah, I mean, you get a compensation pick out of this, but that's really all you get. And I'm not ready to say the Trash Rails are done. I mean, there are 4 and 6 right now, sitting in 3rd place in the AL West right now. They have Altuve playing left field.
Yeah. Now
he is hitting well. He's batting pretty well, but he's already a -5 in defensive run saves. So that alone is not promising. Those are obviously moves they made that was wrong.
Yeah.
But then to trade away one of the players and then not sign the other players who become Players of the Week first week of the season, AJ, man, those are bad moves.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's kind of funny because it's like you called it the kick in the nuts segment, but realistically it's more like a bite you in the ass immediately segment.
Yeah.
Because right out the gate, you're just like, oh, okay, well, this is where we're at. I mean, could you imagine being an Astros fan at this point? And you're just like, no, I mean, and that's obviously as soon as the MLB posted this, the Astros fans were all over the comment section saying, of course, we just let these guys go and they just go off and be great.
Yeah, didn't the Red Sox? Sorry, not the Red Sox. Didn't the Cubs also sign one of their top relievers that used to be the closer before they got Hader, that Riley guy? Greg, you'll probably know who that is. I think it's Jacob Riley or not Jacob Riley, something Riley. But yeah, so yeah, and another star piece of their bullpen. They should have just held on to closer by committee. I don't know, man. Just a bunch of moves that they were doing down there in Houston that just doesn't make any sense. I'm never going to count them out because they did this before. They were in 3rd place before and did come back and win the division and on the last day of the season.
Yeah.
So this isn't necessarily out of context for them, but this definitely is not a good look. I don't know. Astros fans, we need to hear from you in the comments. Let us know what you think on that one.
Yep.
We've got a comment here from Greg Hawkins saying Kyle Tucker has been doing incredible. We need
to extend him.
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't look good that you made him go into arbitration for his, arbitration years. Like you had to go to a mediary for that one. Like, no, we're not going to pay you that money. Like, dude, they're arguing what, like $500,000? I think. Not a good look, but hopefully, Greg, the Braves will turn that around. The next thing I want to jump into, the next subject is the Philadelphia Phillies. Now, the Philadelphia Phillies took 2 out of 3 from the defending champs. That's right. Los Angeles Dodgers. Now, before the game, Bryce Harper did an interview with Major League Baseball. Did you see this?
Absolutely. So he's asked a pretty lengthy question in this interview, and I didn't get the whole question down because it's like
the question doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's really long. Anyways, he's asked pretty specifically about how he feels about the Dodgers and their spending and how they've been successful, and he answers it almost comically because all he does is say he pretty much praises the Dodgers for their aggressive spending and obviously they've been successful. And the best 3 words from this is only losers complain about somebody else spending money.
Yeah. His exact quote was, I don't know if people will like this, but I feel like only losers complain about what they're doing. They're a great team. They're a great organization. Like that was his quote, dude. Like,
yeah.
This is coming from Bryce Harper. Now, obviously, that was before the games even started.
Right.
So this was, this is easy for someone to say after you've taken 2 or 3 games from the defending world champs.
Yeah, absolutely.
But to say this before the first game, I don't know, man. This was incredibly refreshing to me.
Yeah, I mean, I love that Bryce Harper has an opinion, and I mean, he's pushing it in the right direction. Is really the great part to see about this, right? Because as fans, it's easy to get caught up, especially fans from a not LA Dodgers fan base. It's real easy. And we've done some videos on it saying how everyone wants to complain that the Dodgers are just buying wins. And I mean, they're bending the rules. And is this even legal what the Dodgers are doing? But when you have, I mean, someone as respected as Bryce Harper to just come out and say, this is a great take for Major League Baseball, for him to come out and say that this is exactly how it should be done. These guys, it's a great, I mean, obviously the Dodgers have a great area to live in. They spend money on their players. They're doing all the things that MLB organizations are supposed to be doing. And to have Bryce Harper reinstate that is going to be better for the league and better for the fan base. And hopefully he changes some minds amongst MLB fans to see if more teams treated their players like this, the league will only get more competitive.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about it before. It's only the owners of other teams that are spinning this narrative that what the Dodgers are doing is unfair. We did a whole video on it. Thank you guys all for watching that. It was great to see the engagement on that. But to actually have a star player, one of the faces of baseball, come out and say this, and he's also on one of the teams with the top 5 payrolls in baseball.
Yeah, third highest payroll at $283.3 million.
Yeah, they're spending money too, and Bryce Harper is a big part of that. But to have a player like him, a face of the league, basically coming out and saying only losers complain like that, when other teams that are also in the top 10 in payroll are complaining about this kind of stuff, I think really goes a long way. So, tip your cap there, tip your DNA cap to Bryce Harper of the Phillies. Yeah, I love hearing it, man. Love hearing it.
Yep.
But yeah, so we want to hear from you folks. Let us know what you think in regards to that. The next one we have to jump into.
Let's hit that comment real quick.
Oh, okay. So we got another comment from Greg Hawkins. The longer we go without extending Tucker, the more games he hits bombs, the higher his price goes.
Such a great point.
Yeah. Maybe they're just waiting for the other shoe to fall, and hopefully it doesn't happen for you guys. And but yeah, he's not going to get any cheaper than he was at the time of arbitration. You should have extended him then. So for sure. The next one, we want to go ahead and go to the Athletics. Notice how I didn't say a city, because don't call them the Sacramento A's.
No, even though that's what they're playing.
Yeah, they don't want to be known as that. Aside from having a Sacramento Bridge patch on their shoulder, they're not associating with Sacramento at all, which is just pathetic. Don't know why Vegas wants anything to do with this organization, but whatever. That's a completely different topic for a different day. Subscribe to the channel. We'll probably get into it at some point.
I'm sure it's coming.
Yeah. So did you see what happened there? The story from the A's?
Oh, dude, this is absolutely amazing. So the A's game ends, and the press is let out to where they're supposed to do their post-game interviews with players and coaches. And it is all of a 20-foot wide by 60-foot long, like temporary structure that is made of plastic.
Yeah, this team went shopping at Home Depot for
100%
for their press room.
Yeah, no, I mean, they might have called like Diamond Rentals.
There you go.
And been like, hey, let's go ahead and get some presser space in here. But this thing is tiny, 20 feet wide. It's just got one set of double wide doors and then 2 to 3 feet on each side of it. Like, it is very small. It looks really chintzy. Even the lighting in it is all like temporary lighting. Like, I don't know if we'll get a chance to put it up on the screen, but it is laughable for
Yeah.
sure. And it really just shows you, I mean, realistically at this point, the A's, they just can't get out of their own way, man.
No, you're exactly point. It just shows to Goya that this organization has absolutely no clue what they're doing.
Yeah.
This is where you're going to have interviews. You're going to have this place filled with press and cameras. It's going to get really, really hot in there. And then you're going to have the players and managers that come in for interviews have to walk from the back, walk around everybody to get to the table.
Oh no, there's a second set of doors inside.
Oh, there are.
Yeah. There's a door on the if you're walking in the front doors where the press would come in, there's a door on the right side.
Oh, it must have come with the extra diamond, the emerald package from Diamond Rental.
Yeah. Diamond Reynolds got them.
Oh, okay.
They
They
got
got
them
the
hooked
door
up.
on the side.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah, we'll definitely throw it up on the screen for you if you're watching this outside of our live stream. Sorry. All right, if you listen on podcast, check us out on YouTube at DNA Sports Recap so you can see the full video of what we're talking about here. Yeah, dude, it's hilarious, man. It just this ownership, this front office, like, oh yeah, we're gonna play in a minor league ballpark. Oh yeah, we need to figure out how we're gonna sell tickets. Did you see that all the posts on this on social media? People are posting like their third game of the season. But yeah, they sold out their first game, but by the third game, they're showing pictures of the scoreboard where they're in the third inning, and less than 2/3 of that stadium that only holds like 14,000 people is full. Like,
why would you go?
Like, these tickets are ridiculously expensive, by the way.
That's another thing I wanted to talk to you about. Anyways, sorry, but yeah, ridiculously expensive.
They're ridiculously expensive, and people just aren't showing up. They already figured it out that this is not where they want to be. So
yeah,
this is going to be a painful process for the A's, and the A's are a good team this year. They're actually not in last place right now. I believe they're in second. You got the Angels, the A's, and then the Astros, and then you have you got the Angels, the Rangers, Astros, A's, and Seattle. So they're like not even the worst team in the division right now, and they're actually going to be a good team to watch. So this is just really sad because the talent on the field is there to have some exciting baseball. You got a nice intimate stadium there, and they're just blowing it, man. They're just blowing it.
Yeah.
So anyway, not great, not a good look.
Oh, I love this. Let's go to this comment real quick. The Las Vegas A's of Sacramento.
There you go. We're actually going to get into that a little bit later on.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, John Fisher really broke the bank with that shed. Yeah, I bet he got the senior citizen discount or something like that.
Guaranteed.
Probably worked a deal.
Yeah,
didn't want to pay full price for that. But yeah, so good times, man. Good times. So the next thing we want to jump into is also say that next thing we want to get into, the next subject is going to be what also went down this week was actually the Dodgers and the Padres finally lost.
Yeah.
So the Dodgers, the last two undefeated teams after week one have finally lost. The Dodgers have now lost 4 games, 3 of them in a row, by the way, coming into tonight's game where they actually did get a win in Washington finally. And the Padres have also lost 2 games and now are currently leading the NL West, and the Dodgers are sitting in 3rd place right now, which is kind of crazy.
It was just going off the rails in Dodger Town, dude. They were just they just couldn't patch them together enough.
Yeah. So it's we've got Landon Knack and Justin Robleski starting for this team. Yeah, already. Blake Snell's on the IL. Like you said, dude, it's Blake Snell's gone for on the 10-day. We have Evan Phillips. We have a bunch of our bullpen arms that aren't ready. Even though we spent ridiculous amounts of money on starting pitching over the last 3 years, we still can't even patch together a 5-man rotation, let alone a 6. So this is where we're sitting, man. This is great.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is you don't got to be ready for the beginning of the season as long as you're ready at the end.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, as long as you put yourself in a position to make the playoffs, who cares what happens in the first 30, 40 games?
Yeah. I went on record last year. I didn't care if the Dodgers won the division. I just wanted them to be healthy when October baseball started.
That's all that matters.
I cared about.
All that matters.
Yeah. I mean, right now we have issues regarding defense. We probably have one of the worst defensive teams. I can't decide if it's the Dodgers or the Yankees who was worse in 2024, the Dodgers in the playoffs, or 2025, the Dodgers starting. It's been pretty bad. We have a bunch of errors. It's not looking good.
And a lot of really careless errors too. I mean, silly throwing errors over first. I mean, Max Muncy's really, really struggled at third base. I mean,
yeah, and he's not even hitting the ball, man. If you're going to be bad at third, I can take that, but you got to be hitting 35 bombs and hitting 100 RBI.
And it goes the exact other way, right? If you're going to have a rough batting season, that's fine, but you better be like on the verge of winning a damn Golden Glove.
Exactly.
You better lock that shit down Be
Yeah.
that guy.
I said in the offseason, man, I don't want them to trade for Nolan Arenado, but shoot, man, trade for Nolan Arenado, man, because at least we'd have decent defense at third base.
Yeah.
We'll go through a whole nother video where we break down the Dodger woes, but I want to continue to talk about the teams that never lost first week that now lost, and now the team that never won in the first week, finally now sitting at 2-8, which is your Atlanta Braves, man. Congratulations.
Go Braves.
Yeah, 2 wins there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that should be now. How does that make you feel as a Braves fan? Are you excited? Hopeful?
I'm not super nervous about it yet. I mean, like I said, I just said it about the Dodgers, and I feel about the same way as the Braves. I'm okay if we're gonna, struggle, and you lose the Jurickson Profar, which is last week's video, but you lose him, and that was kind of a piece. Now you're kind of patching together your outfield. You're waiting for Acuna to come back, but we've had a lot of bright spots. I mean, our offense is just really struggling to hit the ball, but the Braves played some really tough teams to start this season out, dude. I mean,
for sure.
You're starting with the Dodgers, and then you go to the Padres, and we had a couple games with the Marlins. That's where we get a couple of wins. And then I think tonight we're in Philly.
Yeah, good luck.
So it's like you just got a really tough start to the season as far as scheduling wise. And they were on the road a lot. I think they're at home against Philly tonight, but it's just a tough start to the season. That's okay. You're going to play a couple offensive juggernauts in the Dodgers and the Padres. You're okay to take some of those losses, and now you're done with them. You don't got to see them the rest of the year. You can get into a groove. You saw some great pitching in both of those teams. I'm okay with it. We saw Spencer Schwellenbach had a great game against the Marlins. He threw 8 scoreless innings and his stuff was just on point. And for all the trash that I talked on him last year, like, I don't even know where this guy's coming from. He's just really kind of turned the corner. He's having a great season so far. So optimistic for sure. I think this could turn out to be an okay season. We just got to keep our heads down and just, get the bat on the ball. Everything will be okay in Braves land.
I like it. Now you are going to have to make history in order for good things to happen for the Braves this year.
Absolutely.
Did you know no team has ever started 8-0 and made it to the World Series?
0-8.
Yeah, 0-8. No team has ever gone winless in their first 8 games and made it to the World Series.
Records are made to be broken, my friend.
And only 2 teams have made it to the playoffs that started 0-8. So you're gonna have to set some. You're gonna have to be a trailblazer.
I would also like to see. I mean, some of those teams that started 0-8 probably did not have the talent that the Braves have on those rosters right now.
Yeah, they had the second best odds to win the World Series at the beginning of the season.
And that's kind of my point. Is like, and also I'd like to see those starting those other teams. Who did they start the season off? Was it the defending champion Dodgers? Was it the
tough break for them?
You know what I mean? They just had a really tough start to this season. I don't know. I'm not worried. I mean, yeah, if it's making history, that's great, but I don't think that's the Braves mindset. Like, oh, we have no chance because the record books are against us.
No, 100% agree with you on that one. Let's hit some comments there. We got the one saying Cubs are leading the league in run differential. Yeah, I actually saw that earlier today.
Crazy. Yeah,
it's really good. Run differential is a good position to be in, a good stat to read based off of where you think this season's going to be. If you're positive on the run differential, you're scoring more runs than your opponent. That's going to lead to wins. Dodgers will dominate over time. I'm not so worried about the Dodgers. How about them Braves, though? Yikes. Yeah.
Easy, Greg. I just gave my spiel, man.
He probably dropped that before. So.
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
And he also said Mets are looking hot, too. Yeah, so when it comes to that, you got the highest paid player in baseball dropping balls in right field. Your starting rotation does not look great. Kodai Singh is great. I mean, you got one of the best closers in Edwin Diaz. He's finally looking good, but outside of that, their bullpen's kind of shaky.
Yeah, the Mets have an uphill battle. I mean, they look okay right now, but can they be consistent enough to continue winning games all the way throughout this year and put them in a place to make the playoffs?
Yeah, because you're already going to have a contender for the wild card, so that right now in the National League West, the top 3 teams in the National League West would be in first place in 4 out of the 6 other divisions.
Right.
So you're going to see at least 1, possibly 2 teams coming out of the West for the wild card, and definitely 1 coming out of the wild card in the East. So if you don't win the division, you got to be one of the next best records in baseball.
Yeah.
So that division is going to be kind of tight.
Uphill battle.
Yeah. Good luck to the Mets. They are stacked. They're a great team. I think they do have a potential to make some noise for sure, but I don't know, man. That's a tough division for sure.
Absolutely.
So let's go ahead and pivot on over to the next subject here. Let's go ahead and do an update on the torpedo bats, man.
Yeah.
I want to talk about this here a little bit. Do you have any updates on the torpedo bats?
I want you to give the updates on the torpedo bats.
So we have a few more notes here now. You folks probably know that some of the bats look different this year than they did before. Now there's more information that's coming out about these bats. These bats actually have been around for a lot longer than we thought.
Okay.
John Corliss Stanton of the New York Yankees, Mr. Stantonian Blast himself, actually used this bat last year.
Oh, no way.
Yes, and gave it some credit to being why he was so, prolific in the postseason last year and helped carry the Yankees through the postseason.
How did nobody notice this bat?
Well, it was all his was all black.
Okay.
So if with that whole bevel, unless it's gray, and a lot of like Anthony Volpe, the handle's black, and then up at top it goes to the normal color. So
it just kind of exaggerates it when it's a wood colored bat versus a black bat, I'm sure.
Yeah, and Stanton has the fastest bat speed in baseball. So when he decides to swing, you're not looking at the bat, dude. You're looking at freaking Stanton up there.
Well, you're just watching the ball fly.
Yeah.
Usually.
You're watching an Adonis standing there and you're worried for the pitcher.
Yeah.
That hopefully this isn't a comeback, or you're not paying attention to the bat. But I don't know if you've noticed, but Stanton has not played this year. And we talked about how he has issues in both of his elbows. He has now gone on record saying that it has to do with, you guessed it, adjustments to his swing.
No way.
Yes. Bad adjustments. So it's coming out that players might be getting injured from these bats.
Yeah.
From these torpedo bats. Another interesting thing there about the torpedo bats is that the one that everybody was talking about, the reason why this is such a big deal is that the broadcaster for the Yankees talked about it during one of Anthony Volpe's at-bats.
Right.
Well, now they're calling him Volpedo. That's his new nickname from the press, Volpedo.
Volpedo.
I don't think I want
people come up with this stuff, dude.
I don't think I want that second half of that word in a name that's associated with me.
Nope, that's going to be a pass.
That's going to put you on a list.
Yeah,
so I don't think that's good. But yeah, so this is something. Another interesting thing is Max Muncy actually probably should give a couple more swings on that bat. He got a torpedo bat, used it for the first 3 at bats, did not hit, got rid of it, used his old bat, hit a 2-run double. So he's like, yeah, I'll use that in warm-ups to kind of hone in my sweet spot, but I'm not going to use it. Max, give the bat another shot because you went 0 for 4 again today, buddy. So
please do anything, Max.
Yeah. But also, the whole torpedo bat is actually kind of now a branch term. Now, players go to these facilities to have their bats tailored, just like you have a tailored suit.
Yeah.
You go in there with a bunch of motion capture stuff all over you, special high-speed cameras, and that measure where you're hitting the bat. And they would customize the bat based off of how you feel with the bat in your hands, and kind of develop one session on bat fitting can cost up to $7,000.
Yeah, but that's pennies
for these guys. Yeah.
Well,
keep in mind, then you have to do any adjustments and stuff like that anytime you want to make it.
Yeah, but you're constantly tweaking the bat to make sure you're putting it on the sweet spot. I mean, if you feel good about it, like, especially, I feel like you could also tailor fit that to your pitching, right? Like if you know you're going up in your first couple hits and you've got a right-hander, like, okay, well, if I'm going to see outside pitching more, like, let's move that sweet spot back an inch. Or if you've got a left-hander and the pitches are coming in, like, let's leave it, let's leave it in.
Oh yeah, pick on who you're pitching, who's pitching, use which bat you're going to use.
Yeah, I'm sure that, it's not like they only have one bat.
Yeah, it's really interesting stat that the bat barrel used to be wider, used to be 2.7 inches.
Yeah.
And then because of all the bats that are breaking and shooting off, like, out into the field, like shrapnel, they lowered it. Exactly. They lowered it down to 2.61 inches. And that's automatically made batting averages drop, slug drop, OPS drop, like across the league.
Yeah.
Because they did this. And so now that the torpedo bats have that bigger part that's going to be more towards that 0.6 inches.
Yeah.
2.6 inches. Might see more bats breaking. It might be interesting. So we'll see. This may just be a return to the norm, but a few pieces of information there I thought on the torpedo bats I thought were interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So let's go ahead and move on over to, let's see here. Let's see here. Anything to get more offense. That's pretty cool about the bat fitting. Yeah, it is, man. It's a unique thing they could do. A great video coming from iTalk Studios on that. We'll try to link it in the comment down in the description below if we can be bothered to do so. But anyway, moving on. Let's talk the next subject, which is the Blue Jays. Man, finally made an extension with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Did you see this?
Absolutely. I mean, and this is one that like everyone is like, what is the holdup? Why are you not signing, Vladimir Guerrero? Like this is your guy. This is the team this is the guy that's making your team right now.
Mm-hmm.
But it was announced 2 days after it was first reported that the Blue Jays did sign Vladimir Guerrero Jr. to a 14-year, $500 million extension. The surprising part of this whole contract is $325 million, or 65% of this is in the form of a signing bonus, which means
he's supposed to be with the Dodgers. Only the Dodgers are allowed to do that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
No. Let's get on the phone with the Blue Jays real quick.
I'll call them.
Okay, you get on them.
Yeah. So the remaining $175 million is salary, and both components distributed in varying amounts through the 2039 season. So obviously he was pretty heavily involved in negotiations with the Blue Jays, and he noted saying that he made all final decisions himself. So, I mean, yeah, this deal kind of came together gradually, right? I mean, they were waiting and making sure they got the right thing that was going to be good for everybody. And they finally got it done. So he does get $20 million of that bonus within 30 days. So,
yeah, that's insane.
Be looking out.
Yeah, be looking out. The funny thing about that is what I really like about this is the fact that they took so long for them to do this with him, yet they were all in on Shohei Ohtani.
Right.
They were all in on Roki Sasaki, which doesn't count because he was league minimum anyway. But they were all in on Juan Soto. They wanted to do these $700 million contracts, but they weren't willing to pay their own like all-star first baseman that's basically the face of their team. They weren't willing to repay that guy.
They're like, yeah, nah. We got to see let's see if the grass is greener on the other side,
Yeah. Which is also funny because it's apparently now just the start of the Blue Jays season, just now last week was the start of the Red Sox season. You know why I'm bringing this up?
No.
Both teams set a deadline that when opening day started, they were no longer going to negotiate for a contract extension. They set a firm deadline saying when for Vlad Jr., it was spring training. But opening day for both of them, they said, we're setting a deadline. We will not talk extension after that point. Both of them went back on that and both signed a deal there. So, yeah, not looking. They didn't really hold their ground, but I guess for $500 million in Vlad's case, I think you'll probably put up with it. I think my leg's pushing that. I'm sorry, but yeah, I think that's very interesting on that for sure. Anyway, so moving on to the next one. This is the Pirates, one of the worst organizations in baseball. Just actually did a big no, man. Did you see this story?
Yes. You want to break it down? You want me to?
No, you go ahead.
Okay. So the Pirates have been forced to publicly apologize to the family of Roberto Clemente for apparently replacing a tribute to him with an alcohol ad at PNC Park. So the number 21 tribute on the right field wall was removed to make space for Surfside Cocktails. An advertisement. The Pirates president, Travis Williams, totally took responsibility, called it an honest mistake, and said it was just a complete oversight. So photos of the ad kind of surfaced on social media, and it obviously met to some pretty steep criticism for a family legend, or, like a not a family legend, sorry, an organizational legend, right? And Roberto Clemente.
Well, beyond that, an MLB legend.
I mean,
pioneer.
Yeah.
There's something every year called the Roberto Clemente Award. And this is when a player goes above and beyond in the charitable, what he does in the community for charity. This is a prestigious award. And for the rest of your career, on the back of your hat, you get Roberto Clemente's number on the back of your hat.
If you win the award.
Justin Turner won it. Clayton Kershaw won it. They say it's some of their best, highest. They say that earning that award was some of the highlights of their career so far, is being able to earn that reward.
And the Pirates are just like, yeah, nope. Surfside Cocktails, go ahead and just put it right there. That's fine.
Take down that award. Yeah,
take down the number 21.
Yeah, so this guy is a pioneer, man, in this sport. I wouldn't say it to the level of Jackie Robinson, but some would say very similar to that. This guy did break down barriers and became one of the most generous sports figures in all of history. This guy was just amazing. within the community with it for the Pirates and for all of MLB, and just an all around amazing human being to the point where one of the highest honors in baseball is named after him and has absolutely nothing to do with playing baseball whatsoever.
Yeah.
Which is just crazy this happened. Crazy that they didn't realize, this was happening. The worst part is, he spent his entire career with the Pirates, 1955 to 1972, 15-time All-Star, won 12 Gold Gloves, 4 batting titles, and the 1966 National League MVP.
Yeah, go ahead, dig down 21. Surfside Cocktails is here.
Yeah. He also died in a plane crash off the coast of San Juan in his native Puerto Rico on New Year's Eve 1972, attempting to deliver supplies to earthquake-ravaged Nicaragua. He was inducted in the Hall of Fame the following summer. So, yeah, dude, all that. Very, very bad look to pull that. Like, seriously.
Shame on you, Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah.
Shame on you.
It's really, really bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we also want to do one more thing here when it comes to baseball before we get out of here, and that is hit up the Angels, man. The Angels were called out by the mayor. What do you know about this story? Did you see this?
I did, absolutely.
Oh
so the Anaheim mayor, Ashley Aitken, issued an open letter to the Angels owners, R.T. Moreno, urging the team to re-embrace Anaheim in its name. Aitken called for the team to recognize Anaheim's history and partnership by prominently using the city's name versus obviously LA. So that, obviously the Angels were renamed from the Anaheim Angels to the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim in 2005, and then simply changed it to the Los Angeles Angels in 2015. So her letter kind of criticized the lack of communication and, vague statements from the Angels ownership about the team's future in Anaheim. And she was obviously pretty upset. She wanted to work on building a better relationship with the team. She wants them to be more transparent and, because the Angel Stadium is obviously in Anaheim.
Right.
And, they're using Angel Stadium in Anaheim. And
the team leases Angels Stadium, the Big A, to the A's for $1 a season.
Right. They do not pay rent on their extended lease. It's good through 2032 with an option to 2038.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane. Yeah, man. I mean, this is coming from a Dodgers fan. Like, I understand why Artie Moreno did this whole the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim and now just calling them the Los Angeles Angels by putting LA in your name. That increases your team's value or the evaluation of the franchise. And if you did sell the team last year like you were flirting to do, then I'm okay with it. But this is absolutely, I'm 100% on board with the mayor here. The fact that the team is in Anaheim, they're in Orange County. They're not in Los Angeles County. They're not in Los Angeles. And yet they're calling themselves the Los Angeles Angels while they're benefiting from $1 on a massive, massive location for their stadium, where they could do so much more with that location and just leasing it $1 a year until 2032.
Just hooking them up.
Just the fact that they're getting away with that just blows my mind, man. Absolutely blows my mind.
Especially because of how bad they are. Yeah.
I mean, they're in first place right now. But
historically how bad they are.
Oh yeah. They're not going to be in first place by the end of the year.
Yeah.
At some point, it's going to change things, but yeah, I love to see the team winning. I love to see the team play well. But yeah, I'm 100% on board with this, man. You're not fooling anybody, dude. You're not the Los Angeles Angels. Nobody in LA roots for your team. LA is a Dodger town. Heck, even Anaheim's a Dodger town. I've been to Disneyland. There's nothing but Dodger hats there. There's not a single Anaheim hat in Disneyland when you're there. So I don't even want to hear it. I'm 100% on board with this. I think the open letter was a great idea. She even said in there that when it comes to the relationship, there really isn't one. It's been great, man. I love this. I love seeing this, and I 100% agree with them. They need to change the name back to, California Angels is a bit of a stretch, but rather than be there than calling LA home when they're not really part of LA.
Yeah, go back to Anaheim.
Yeah, stay in Anaheim. Just use the name.
Yeah,
that's the place you're based out of.
Yep.
We could talk about that about the A's too, but we won't.
No, I think Greg already figured out the A's, man.
Yeah, he definitely did. He definitely did. So let's go ahead and jump in a few more of the comments here. Once again, folks, we want to hear from you in the comments down below. Let us know what your thoughts are on all the subjects we talked about when it comes to Major League Baseball. jump into the comments. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know what you'd like us to talk about going forward here in Major League Baseball. Who's your team? What are you excited about on the early starts of this season? We want to hear from you. Let us know in the comments down below. Let's hit some of these comments here. Let's see here. Down.
Up one. There it is.
Yeah. It always felt like Anaheim Angels to me. Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm agree with you on that one. Artie Moreno is a terrible owner. Yeah, dude. The worst part is he just like my favorite part is they traded Jock Peterson and Ross Stripling to the Angels, and because they didn't get it done because the Dodgers were holding up until they completed the Mookie Betts trade, he backed out of the deal. Like
he's just like, yeah, no.
Like we were going to give you the best DH you're going to have, and we're also going to give you the best starter you had on your team, and you just like, oh, it's taking too long. We're backing out of the deal. Like, this guy it's a terrible owner, man. His ego is just insane. He said he was going to sell the team, and then he decided not to. It's a dumpster fire. They're one step ahead of the Pirates and the Marlins and some of these other garbage teams that don't deserve to have their franchise. Sorry, these garbage owners that don't deserve to have their franchise. But anyway, I digress there. You got anything else?
Nope, man, that's it.
All right. Well, once again, folks, we appreciate it. Thanks for tuning into this episode of the DNA Sports Recap. As a reminder, folks, this channel did just hit 1,000 subscribers. We're at 1,300 right now. If you have not subscribed yet, please do so. We are giving away the first $500 of We Internet AdSense revenue back to our subscribers. 5 subscribers are each going to earn $100 each. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on that giveaway, and smash that like button for your boy AJ.
Do it. And if you're watching on YouTube on one of our short videos, just know this is available as a podcast wherever you get your audio.
With all that said, my name is Darren, and that is AJ, and this has been an episode of the DNA Sports Recap.
Till next time.